Hi everyone, Michelle Lloyd here for the final live at 11. I'm just plugging my laptop in. Here we go. How are you all? I can see Colin here. Hi, Helen. Lovely to see you. Right, so this is the final live. I can't believe I have been live every day now for the last 3 weeks. I'm surprised I've still got a voice left. I really am. It's been absolutely incredible. I have loved it. I absolutely love doing these workshops. I love the buzz and the energy and getting people together and everyone meeting each other and the revelations that people have and to share what I know and have learned and to see that impacts other people just makes me feel so good and to know that it's helping. And I've asked people to start sharing their big takeaways, and it's nice to do that. Sharon told me to do that when you learn something, take part in something, to spend that time reflecting on what have I got out of this. It's such a small piece of advice, but it has a big impact to take that time. So really think about what you have learned from the last 2 weeks, or what revelation you discovered, or you might have seen where you've been going wrong or where you can go right, or it's so exciting. And take that time to really reflect on that and remember where we began, you know, at the very beginning with the mindset and starting to think up what we would like our lives to be like and the potential that is out there right now. In fact, I've just been inside the hub this morning, and one of my members, Rachel, just posted in the group just this morning, just a few minutes ago. She's based in Australia. She just said, I just can't believe it. I'm officially a full-time artist. She's reduced all her hours down and now she's moved over to full-time artist. And, you know, it takes time. It takes time, but it's possible. And it's when we hear stories like this inside the hub, you know, that it inspires us all to keep going, because it isn't easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And, you know, it isn't easy, but using this framework and having a guide and simplifying everything. I am a big fan of simplifying the process, because the more you can do that and the more you get focused and the more you know what steps to take, you know, you can succeed at this. So it is super exciting. I know some people, the hub isn't the right time, and that's absolutely fine. Take the 7 keys, work with them, and, you know, you can join in the future when you feel ready. I know some people have joined and maybe you're terrified, and that is normal. I just want to say that I've had so many people join the hub and they are really frightened. They feel out of their comfort zone, worried that their work isn't good enough to be inside the group. All of these fears, I've been doing this a long time now, so I can identify them. And one thing I'm really good at is identifying that in people and helping you build up your confidence. That's one of my superpowers. So I just want you to know that you're in safe hands. I will take good care of you. And then there'll be some people who are just raring to go. You know, we're all different and feel differently about things. So it's exciting. It is really exciting. Julie says I'm on time. Hey Vivian. It's lovely to see you here, my lovely. Antoinette, good evening from Australia. Lovely. And it is so amazing that we have people joining from literally all over the world. In fact, I had a world map and I was going to put it up to show you where everyone has joined from, and I will still do it inside the hub. But this week has just been so busy, and I had the map there ready to pin where everyone had been joining from. Oh gosh, and it's just one of those things I had an idea to do and it didn't happen, but never mind. I will be going through, there are so many countries. I mean, Trinidad and Tobago, Australia, India, South Africa, France, Spain, Italy, UK, Ireland, USA, Canada, so many countries. And it's lovely. It's lovely to be able to bring you all together. And I had people asking me today, does it matter what kind of art I make? And it really doesn't, because this framework is all about finding your voice and finding your people. And we focus on 2D and 3D art so that we've all got something in common. So it's all about visual art. But we have so many different types of artists inside the group. Installation, ceramic, embroidery, collage, mixed media, fine art painting, pastel, glass, digital art, lots and lots of different types in terms of subject, and yeah, it's very varied, but it's 2D and 3D art. Beth, I've joined just for the month. That's okay. Come and join us. You'll learn a lot in that time. You really will. Honey, yes, Ireland, the Wild Atlantic Way, incredible. Switzerland, Brazil, yes. Carmen's here from Finland, Sweden. Oh gosh, I just love it. I get goosebumps when I see where everyone is from, and thinking about us all, in our countries over the world, all now coming together. It still blows my mind. It still always blows my mind. Oh, Sharon, what I've taken from this experience is the joy of being with a creative community again, so reassuring. And that is actually the reason I set it up originally. I graduated from uni and I missed being in an art studio. I missed my other buddies, the other students. I missed having my own little studio space, and just missed asking those questions like, what do you think of this colour next to this one? Or what do you think of this mark? Because sometimes we do just need to bounce ideas off each other. And that's where the Virtual Art Studio was born. So the Virtual Art Studio is my free group, and that's where it all began there, and then grew into the hub. So James from the UK, amazing. Romeo, hello. I'm raring to go, but sometimes I try to go too fast. Yeah, and a lot of people sometimes dive in and they'll just consume everything, and that's okay. And then we rein it back again, and just we're always reining it back into what is the next 3 most important steps that you need to take right now to take you forward. Building your confidence again, yes. Oh, I love this. Hi from Australia with my heart in my mouth. Looking forward to starting in the hub. Amazing. Hi, Jimmy. The sun is out and I'm excited about the journey ahead. Yay. And that's tuning in from the Wirral in the UK. Hi, Jane. Jane's one of my members who was on with me the other day. Hi, Julie. Oh, lovely to see you all. I'm just seeing if there's any comments that I need to reply to. I've gone from treading water to feeling like I have some purpose in life again. Isn't that nice? And that's half the battle sometimes, is just having that purpose and having direction to go in. So happy to see you alive. Iona, lovely to have you here. Being Sunday and me at home, not at the office. Oh, amazing. So today is going to be a bit of a free for all. You can ask me any questions. Hi, Michelle. I'm loving other workshops. My Vivian, sorry. It's Vivian. And I'm just filling in the worksheets as we speak. Yay. Okay, that's incredible. You will get so much from it, Vivian. You really will. Susie, not long back after night shift, thrilled to watch the final live workshop. Incredible. Yay. Sandra says it's been a real eye-opener. It's lovely to see so many of you here. And then we have the art party later to celebrate with my friend Sharon. When Sharon and I get together, it's a giggle. And Sharon, if you are, I know the time zones, you might not be able to watch live, but it's 8 p.m. UK time, UTC +1. I'll be with Sharon, and Sharon has been on this United Art Space journey with me since the beginning. And well before she was a full-time artist, and we've worked together closely for the last 3 years now. And she is a real successful full-time ceramicist artist, and so she'll be on the live with me, so you can ask her questions later. And we will just have fun. You know, it's about celebration of the arts later, to really just celebrate everything that we've gone through over the last 2 weeks, and to remind ourselves, I have this new mantra that you matter, art matters, your art matters. And I just love that, because, you know, you do matter, and the way you feel matters, and art matters because it makes you feel a certain way, but it impacts the world and impacts you and makes you learn more about yourself, and your art matters from, you know, that. So having the courage to do it and get yourself out there, it's a big, big step. It really, really is. So what I'm going to do, I'm sorry, I don't know how to remove, there we go, not a comment. I do digital and traditional art, including watercolor, colour pencil, etc. Amazing. And it's okay to do a lot of different types as long as the thread is there. Jennifer's asking, will we be arting tonight as well? Yes. So bring your art materials along, because we're all going to be making art together. So Sharon and I do these sessions sometimes where we just turn up, we just chat, we will talk about, you know, give you some shout outs, and we'll go through the post to see what you've learned over the last 2 weeks. And we'll talk about how art is amazing and you're all amazing, and bring your sketchbooks or painting materials, and we'll just make some art together and hang out. Cav says, I'm a hub turtle. So we do have people inside the hub that just take their time, and, you know, you're not in a race. It's about just exploring who you are. Let me just talk, first of all, a little bit about selling with confidence, because it's a big topic, and it is something that I'm going to be doing inside the hub. August, we're going to be focused on selling, and there'll be some lessons to help you with selling. But in a nutshell now, I just wanted to talk about it because I do see a lot of artists struggle with the word selling, never mind the actual action of it. Because I think when you hear that word selling, it can feel icky, and you start to think of trying to push things onto people when they don't want it, or, you know, you might feel uncomfortable with the transaction of actually taking money from someone. And we do a lot of work in the hub on this, because I think artists feel this way for many reasons, but, you know, we're making something very personal. And I think that instantly creates blocks and some anxiety around, you know, selling that and taking money from that, because it was something that maybe you enjoyed and something that was a therapy for you and something that is so personal. And how do I now sell this? And what if people don't want it? And it creates so many fears. And selling with confidence comes from addressing all of that and being very aware about how you feel about selling, how you feel about the word, and understanding and turning that belief around, that selling is actually, it can be a beautiful transaction. It can be somebody coming into your world, really connecting with your art and wanting to buy something from you. And when you start to think of selling that way, that you are scooping people up who really respect you and want to invest in you. And that is precious, it's lovely. And so when you start to reframe what selling actually is, it can totally turn everything around. And actually selling doesn't need to be sleazy, doesn't need to be tricking people into buying something, especially that they don't want. It doesn't need to be that way. And I think because there are people in the world that operate that way, and maybe we've all been stung ourselves, where we've maybe paid for something and then we thought, oh, I didn't really want that, I just didn't want it. It can create fear inside then when we come to sell ourselves. And so remember that all of our decisions are based on our subconscious and the way we've been treated before. When you come to make a decision, you know, you might not remember it, but you might feel resistance around something, and it's usually embedded. Vivian will tell you. Vivian was my therapist. And so, things can be hidden inside. And so the more you do become aware of yourself and how you feel, you can address these things and you can turn it all around and you can enjoy selling. And selling actually is being authentic, being yourself. Really working through these 7 keys will make you feel so confident about your voice, about the art that you make, the price that you have priced it at. You will feel confident, you know your worth, you've worked it out. That's what we're going to help you with inside the hub, is to help you feel very confident with the artist that you are, to be courageous to put your work out there, to know that you can find your people, to have priced with confidence. And so when you say the price, you know that you've worked it out, you've worked through the lessons inside the hub, and you know that that's what your work is worth. You've done the research. You've had support from us, and we're going to give you that reassurance that, yes, you're on the right path, you're making the right decisions. And all of that, and this is one of the things the hub members have said, the confidence that this brings to be able to talk about your work, to be able to understand where it fits, to say the price, all of this contributes towards you being able to sell, because the selling part comes from being confident and understanding your place as well. When you start to find the right people, it does become effortless. I have members now, Lottie, who's just had 60 commissions, and she said it's effortless. I just don't even feel, like I am selling. I'm just sharing what I'm doing and people want it. And that's what starts to happen. The more you tap into the 7 keys, your why will start to sell your work, and you will start to see that you'll sell without selling, in that traditional sense. There are definitely ways that you can, selling is psychological, there are definitely triggers that we respond to as humans. And I can list a few, and I will go into more depth in the lesson. I don't want to go heavy on this because it can start to overwhelm people. You don't have to worry about this. But, when you are more advanced, there are things that you can do to create more desire for your artwork, such as deadlines. People love deadlines, and humans, react to deadlines. So by saying that, I've released a new collection of work, and the first 10 pieces, maybe you're sending these out, there'll be a reduction, or you're a free print or something with the first 10 pieces that I sell. These kind of triggers do work, and it's not tricking people. It's human nature. We just love differences and deadlines, and and what you will find as well is there are different buying habits. The way I buy will be different to the way you buy. And some people need a deadline. They need, a deadline to work to. Some people like to ponder, and they like to ask lots of questions. And so the more you learn all of this, you will start to introduce this in your communication. And again, that will start to help you sell. And it's just in a very, very natural way. And you'll start to find ways that you can create more desire for your work and sell in a fun way that's really authentic, genuine. And that's what we teach inside the hub. It's how to be authentic and sell in that way. And when you start to really understand the purpose of your work, and this can throw people as well, we'll help you with all this, don't panic. The purpose, when someone buys something, there is a purpose. Instantly, if someone wants to buy it, there becomes a purpose, a need, a want, or a desire. And this comes with practice. And the more you understand the purpose of your work, which can be difficult to understand sometimes, and this framework will help you get the answers, then you will start to incorporate that into the way you sell. For example, if your work is intended to go on a wall, then it's small little things like this. Then show the work on the wall in your pictures. Explain how it's hung, explain how it looks. And this is all part of selling. It's showing people this is how the work will look when you buy it. And all of this, I had people watching the social media yesterday saying, I don't produce enough work to post frequently. And what you'll learn when you come through the 7 keys is you'll learn that there's more to posting than just about your work. It's about posting things that maybe people have got questions about. You know, we all have questions before we buy something. There might be some fear of, you know, how does it hang? Or what does this look like? And it's about showing that through your social media. So it gets exciting. But if you are at the beginning and you're a beginner, you know, don't worry about this yet. When you work through the 7 keys, it's a system, and what I'm talking about now is more advanced. At the beginning, it is literally finding your voice, growing your confidence, making that first step in pricing the work at the stage you're at right now. And all of that starts to contribute towards how you will sell when you're ready, and grow and grow and grow and grow. So it doesn't have to be icky and this horrible transaction. And there might be people that don't want to buy from you, and that's absolutely fine. They're not your people. And in all of this, you're finding your people. And you will scoop people up in social media that might never buy from you. And this is something else I want to talk about in terms of selling. We quite often think of selling as, you know, the transaction to sell your artwork and then money back, which is one way. But we're also selling ourselves and our art in another way. And this is by scooping up people that might not necessarily buy from you, but they might have an interest in what you're doing. They might be a company that have access to your people. And what you're doing all the time is, by using the 7 keys and sharing this part of yourself, is selling yourself. And through the why and the what, you might capture someone's attention that say, do you know what, I'd love to feature you in a magazine. And this is what's happened to my members. They will start sharing more about their why, more about their what, showing up. And what they're doing inadvertently is selling themselves and selling their work to people. But it might not be the work. It might be, I really want to share what you're doing on my platform. And that also, I think, is a way of selling. We're selling ourselves. So I guess it's all about marketing and being visible. But I like that idea of, it's not always about money coming back, it's about collaboration as well. And the more you think of it as that way, it's not just about selling, it's about us being visible and scooping up our people. And it's not always about every single person who will buy. Sometimes those people that might never buy from you can be a great connection and see something in you. And Kristen did this, she was sharing lots. And we had a visibility challenge inside the hub where I challenged people to be more visible. And so she took the challenge on, and not, I was going to say force herself, but she made her, encouraged herself to be more visible on Instagram. And she used the 7 keys to share more about her work. And she got spotted and by a magazine, artist and illustrator. And she used the 7 keys to write the article, to answer the questions. And so that's the kind of thing that can happen. And then that elevates and raises your profile. It can go on your CV. It's something that you can share about on social media. I've just been interviewed for this magazine. Honestly, when you start to work through this, opportunities and things just start arising that you could never, ever have planned for. I promise you that, when you start to fine tune all of this. And that's the thing. And that's why the hub is so amazing, because we're there to support you in the long term. Because Kristen found this, that, when she started to work through the 7 keys, then she got this application, or was approached by the magazine, and goes, I don't know what to do. I've just been approached by this magazine. And we're there to support you in that next step. There'll always be things that crop up that you think, I have no idea how to handle this, because you just didn't ever see it coming. And the great thing is, inside the hub, that's what I'm there for, and the community is there for, to answer those questions that crop up as you are working through all of this and opportunities arise and you think, oh my gosh, how do I handle this? And so it is amazing. It is amazing that the community have also been through this framework, so they understand it as well and can direct you. So it is exciting. Let's see. if there's any questions. So I want you to know that if you don't like selling, then you will come to enjoy it or accept it or reframe it. Ali, I always love Ali's little tips. So like everyone, you need to make a living, and there's a uniqueness that comes with what you create. That invests your energy, time, passion for whatever you do. Purpose, passion, and potential becomes evident as you evolve and grow. Nice. I've had some followers that are single men, no post, doctors, generals, etc. Should I block them? As I don't think they're real accounts. Yeah, block and delete. I do that. Just block and delete. And also, you know, if you do get those horrible comments on social media, I tend to just block and delete as well. You can spend so much energy trying to justify to people. And if someone really isn't your person, you know, I think there's a fine line with someone being maybe a bit defensive and prodding you and asking questions, and you maybe need to alleviate and be kind and just say, oh yeah, it's nothing to worry about, I work like this. Or someone who's just very, very rude, and you can tell that you would never be able to work with that person, then just block and delete them. Tamar, I have the opposite. Here's a good, okay. I have so many artwork styles, it's finding the ones that will sell. Yeah, and that's what you don't want to focus on. Go back to the 7 keys, because it starts with your why. You've really got to start with the why first, because if you're trying to choose a work that you think you will sell, it's the wrong way around to do it. Once you tap into that passion and the why and what fires you up and choose a thread, and then you can start to adapt the work once you realize then where it fits, to make the work more commercial or more desirable. But it starts with the why, that passion, that what is firing you up. Review your work and decide what you want to focus on for the next 90 days and work on this collection. It will pay off, I promise you. Because you could put your work in front of people and it's so subjective. And so many people have different opinions. So choosing something and then growing your audience is the best way. Do you have a module on understanding other buying habits in the hub? That's what's coming in August. So in August, we're going to be focused on selling. And I'll be talking about the buying habits of people. I'll be talking about psychological triggers, and I'll be talking about how you can be more confident through the 7 keys selling. And yeah, there's going to be a big lesson coming on that in August. And we'll all be focused on selling as well. I see lots of artists showing their artwork in mock living rooms. Do you think this works better than showing it on an actual blank wall? Yeah, I think it can be. Maybe vary it, and you want it to look nice and look suitable. So I would play around definitely with different ways. So this is a great question. Okay. I'm not sure what my skill level is. How do I know what my skill level is, or does that matter? And someone asked me about this yesterday. Does skill level matter? And it goes back to the where and the context, because if you put your artwork into a high-end gallery that are really focused on technical application and, you know, depth and all the formal elements, bringing something to life, then in that arena, skill is important to them. They want to invest in something that is, you know, highly executed to a professional level, someone that's maybe working at their craft for 20 years. But take that same artwork and share it with people who maybe work in the art therapy space, and people who are maybe buying work because they relate to the meaning behind why it was made, and they connect with it and they connect with the colors. Then that person isn't looking for technical execution. You know, they're not looking for the formal elements to all tick the box. And so it really does depend on the context of the work. So some people will say, yes, you know, application of the formal elements. The formal elements are tone, contrast, composition, colour, form, all of those things. But then other people won't be. So again, it really depends on your people and the context of the work, because, and when you tap into that and you'll find your people. So Hannah found this. Hannah doesn't follow, you know, the rules of art. It's a process for her. And it hasn't stopped her finding her people, because her people understand that. They're not looking at her work through the eyes of someone looking at the technical ability. That being said, you know, there's always ways that you can improve. And so that's why working through the 7 keys on your why and your what, the what is what the work is. Being very clear on what your intention is as an artist. What are you trying to communicate through your artwork? And whatever that is, always working on making your artwork better and better, because art is a language, it's a visual language. And we're all learning how to use the formal elements. The way you know, apply your mark. Is it soft? Is it hard? Is it jagged? Is it smooth? And we're all using the formal elements to create our own language. And that's unique to each of us. And the more you understand that and develop your own language, and that's what we're doing as artists effectively, that's what makes us unique. We take ideas from other people's language and other artworks and copy them, and we create our own versions. And that's us creating our own artistic voice, our own language. And so the more that you tap into what am I trying to communicate? What do I like? What works here? And being aware of that and thinking, you know, do I want to strengthen the look of my artwork? Because again, there are psychological things that we're drawn to as humans, such as differences and contrast. You know, that's what we're drawn to, contrast. We'll see contrast before we see colours. And so there are things that you can do to really strengthen an artwork. You know, we can think about the composition. We can strengthen an artwork by altering the composition and moving things over. That makes something more interesting. It's psychological. So there are definitely things that you can do to strengthen artwork. But know that you'll never feel ready. Sharon, who I'll be with tonight on the live art party, has been an artist for 25 years. And she was a lecturer. She was my art lecturer, actually. That's how we met. And, you know, she's been an artist for 25 years and she is still learning, and she still feels today like her art is just not where she wants it to be. The skill, you know, to us, is like, wow. But to her, she just says, no, you know, it's not where it needs to be. And I'm pushing myself all the time to refine it and to make it better in her eyes. You know, she's doing very, very successfully well. You know, she's selling out. It's incredible. But to her, you know, she obviously has this vision of what the skill that she wants to aim to be at, and she's not quite there yet. But her people don't see that. Her people are buying it and absolutely loving it. So I don't feel sometimes like you should wait until you are ready, because I don't think as artists we ever, you know, finally get there and go, that's it now, I've nailed it, I'm done. I think we're always ever evolving. So just the faster, you know, you can get clearer on this and the direction you're going in, and just work on your voice constantly. Chris, when she joined, I showed a picture, you know, she painted a cat, and quite a naive painting, very flat, no depth. And it was fine, you know, that was the stage she was at, but she decided, actually, I want to work on my voice and I want to create something that has a more realistic representation. And then she spent the next year focusing on that, and oh my goodness me, the difference. So that, again, when you get really focused through the 7 keys, your what will develop. Your what is obviously your artwork. And members inside the hub have said their artwork has just excelled. Marita says this, that when she joined, you know, I mean, she has been to university and has a master's degree and a degree in ceramics. So very, very well educated in the arts. But she says it's actually from working through this, her art has developed on such a different scale, and becoming more focused and actually, because of, you know, she's learned all the technical things at university, but I actually looking at why she's making and what her voice is and what she wants to communicate through her art has helped her make those decisions that I want to work on this and I want to work on that. And, you know, in the last 2 years, she's been with me well, it hasn't been going in 2 years, 18 months. Her work has come on phenomenally, and from working through this framework. So, but there was nothing wrong with it back then, you know, it's just evolved and changed and now is like a different level altogether. So, sorry, it's a very long answer. Oh my, I do waffle sometimes. Okay. Naomi says, I'd love to join the hub, but I can't this time. No problem. How do you get on the wait list for the next enrollment? So, and thank you, I've learned heaps. I'm glad you've learned a lot, Naomi, and it's been a pleasure to have you here. So as soon as the workshops end, which is this evening, I will be posting inside the group and email you all, and anyone that didn't join, you can join the wait list for next time. So, and there's also something else, if you want to stay connected, and you haven't joined the hub, then there's something else that you can take part in. I'll email you about that. Safa, I love the thought of selling my art, but talking about it, I feel insecure. This will help you. This gives you confidence. I asked the hub members what you get from the hub, and they all say confidence. You know, it's always confidence in pricing, confidence in selling, confidence in my work now because it's so much better. And it all comes back to more confidence. And so it will. What is the significance of a signature and an artwork? Are there any rules around it? There aren't any rules, but I just think signatures do add more value. And I think, you know, I personally like an artwork with a signature on it. That's me personally. Again, I guess it depends on, some people might not like signatures, but I do. I think it's a symbolic reference to, you know, I can imagine the artist made it and then it's that final touch, the signature is the last thing that goes on. And for me, that just, it's like the icing on the cake. And it means a lot. I think that it's like a moment of pride when the signature goes on. So I think signatures are important on an artwork, but there are no rules, no. But I do think it does add value because it's a symbolic reference of this is an original piece of work as well. So it's that, again, psychological trigger. Just checking to see if there's any. Oh, Donna, bless you. It'll be 5 a.m. Oh, I don't expect you to go up at 5 a.m. No one wants to party at 5 a.m., do they? Oh, bless you, Carol. I've just seen that you've had some sad news. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. Sending you a big, big hug, Carol. I need to hear all of this, says Karen. I'm so pleased. First change of mindset, selling a beautiful transaction. What a lovely concept. It is, because when you think about someone buying something, you know, when I bought artwork before, it just makes me feel good. Okay, Kim says, I've joined the hub, but I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. I need to start bringing money in as soon as possible. And I can see why I've not been successful so far. I've got so much to learn and change. The 7 keys, website, social media, photographing, etc., etc. Where do I start? That's what I'm going to help you with inside the hub, Kim. So Monday, you'll get access to the community tomorrow. And then I'm going to be doing a week of welcome. And I'll be sending you all an email in a few hours. I just wanted to get these live sessions out of the way because I didn't want to bombard you with emails. But I will send you an email telling you when all the lives are next week. And I will be helping you figure out what stage you're at, because you can't do all those things. You can't do all the 7 keys, website, social media, and photographing at the same time. So what we do inside the hub is we help you focus on your next 3 steps. So you can't do all the things. And if you look at all the things inside the hub, you will get overwhelmed. The hub is there when you need it, but you cannot do everything in there in one go. So we will break everything down for you, and then you can just check in every week, and we will be there to support you every week to say, right, what are you working on this week? And then we can keep you focused. We do lots of planning sessions inside the hub to help you really focus your time. Oh, in fact, that was one of the questions I got asked, was how I manage my time, because I'm a single parent with 2 kids, 5 and 6. And the last year, whilst my husband and I were still together, he was working away in London, and so I was literally on my own doing everything. And it was tough. It is tough, you know, when you've got full-time jobs and you're trying to do things on the side, and like me, when you've got a family and you're pulled in all different directions of responsibilities. And I remember years ago when I set up United Art Space, you know, I had a job, I had a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I was with my husband at the time, and he was very supportive. But still there was limited time. And I remember back then I kept saying to myself, I just don't have time, I just don't have time, I just don't have time. And I remember one day I felt like I must have said it 20 times. I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time. And it was almost like I was giving myself a headache from saying it over and over again. And then I realized that if actually I stopped saying that, I'd probably buy back another 20 minutes out of the day. And I'll never forget this piece of advice from someone that said, you have the same 24 hours as everybody else. You do have time. It's where you choose to put your time. And that person, and I can't remember who it was that told me this, and they said, stop saying I don't have time and start to say, I do have time. I have the same 24 hours a day as everyone else. So what am I going to choose today? Oh my gosh, that has been one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given. And that day, they said that to me. I went in the board on my kitchen blackboard, and I wrote, I do have time. I have the same 24 hours as everyone else. And I wrote that there to remind me, because I was still in that frame of mind of I don't have time. So every time I went to say it, I look at the board. And then since that day, I don't say it now. Maybe it slips out every now and again, but on the whole, I don't say it. And instead now I do think I have this amount of time, and this is the time I need to spend with my kids, and this is the time I need to commit here and here. And then I look at what is left and what is important to me. And when United Art Space was my dream, and I was in another job and I had the babies and juggling quite a lot, what I did is I knew that I wanted to set up United Art Space, and I felt really frustrated because I couldn't get going, because I just felt like I just didn't have the time. And so someone else said to me, you know, when you have a dream, carve out 5 hours a week and work towards your dream, because your dream is worth that time. And that time was a lot, like 5 hours in a week. At that point for me was a lot to carve out, but I did it, and I did it over 2 days, and I asked for help, and I said, you know, I asked my mother-in-law, could you have the babies? I worked in the night, I got up a little bit earlier, and I just started to carve out the hours. And then I started to work on United Art Space alongside everything else that was going on. And then what I found was then over time, I could up it to then it was 10 hours a week. And I carve out certain evenings, and I started to grow a habit. So my habit was Tuesdays between 3 and 5 is my dream time, United Art Space time. And it was non-negotiable. And I made that non-negotiable time to work towards my dreams as if I was showing up for a job, as if, you know, you wouldn't phone your employer and say, I can't come in today because now I'm feeling a bit tired. Or actually there's something that's come on TV now, so I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to come to work today. Or somebody needs me to cut the lawn for them, so I'm not going to come to work today. And I just started to think, you wouldn't say that, would you, to someone that you've committed to? When you commit to yourself, you should show up the same. And so I started to show up with that non-negotiable time. And if people asked, I had to say no. It's like, no, sorry, but 3 till 5 is my time. And I had to be really strict with that and say no to some things that felt awkward. But that was my time when I showed up. And habitually, when you carve out time like that, so every day between so and so and so and so, you then, it's like you're showing up for work, and this has to happen. And then also getting very, very focused. So I work through the 7 keys all the time. All the time I'm working through this. This is how I've got United Our Space off the ground. I work through the 7 keys and getting very focused, because we can feel busy doing things, but sometimes if we're not focused on the right things, we're not getting anywhere. And so this has helped me get clarity on what I've got. 2 hours that are very, very special and precious. What am I going to do in these 2 hours that are going to help me move forward? And by doing that, you know, I've been able to grow and grow and grow to what now it is today. And so it all started with me just having those 5 hours a week that were really challenging to find. And that was maybe 3.5 years ago. And yeah, and Sharon was the same. So Sharon, who I'll be talking with this evening, the same. We were in the same situation. We had babies at the same time, both had commitments. She was struggling to find time for her art. And she did the same thing. She carved out that non-negotiable time. She actually found, well, she has a studio, so that's where she showed up. Having a space as well, I think, is important. I didn't have a space back then. I just used to have the corner of the dining room. So hopefully that helps, but I know that it is tricky when you've got so many things going on. And I know from experience, because I've tried before when I've had jobs to do a degree at the same time. And so hopefully making that habitual time and non-negotiable time, and stop saying I don't have time. Yes, Donna, there are men in the hub. Yeah, a lot of the success stories that I share are from the women, and the men just don't tend to come forwards and celebrate as much as the women do for some reason. But we do have men. I would say there's probably a split of 40% men and 60% women. So there are more women than men inside the hub. But yeah, but when I post saying, can I share your stories with our people, it's always the women that come forward. But Les was one of my first members, and Lloyd has been on interviews with me as well. He likes coming on and talking, but he's really, really busy at the moment because he runs a martial arts academy, and so he does come on a lot of lines with me to talk about his progress. He's a world champion kickboxer turned portrait artist. So yes, and I'm glad you asked that, because I've had somebody else ask that. But yeah, there are guys in there. Yeah. Oh, Anna's joined. Amazing. So helpful to have the initial framework all mapped out, to follow step by step, just helps break it all down and devour the elephant one bit at a time. Yes, thank you for your super generous free workshops. You're very welcome, Lynette. But yeah, if you've joined and you're feeling overwhelmed, please know that that is normal, because whenever you learn something new, it is overwhelming, because there's lots and lots of things to suddenly process. And then within a week, you will have processed where everything is, what things mean, and then it becomes easier. So the first step is learning where to go, what to do if you've got a problem, where things are inside the hub. And then once you've done that, and I'll help you all of next week to make sure that you know where everything is, to make sure that you know the next steps to take. So don't worry, I will, and the hub members will guide you as well. So you're in safe hands. You're in safe hands. But whatever you do, don't freeze and just think, I can't do this. Because you can. Karen's joined, yay! Hello, fellow turtle. I'm a turtle as well in the programs that I'm in. Right, I had some questions coming from Naomi. She sent me loads of questions. Let me just go and dig out her messages. Andrew, hello. I've been so busy. I keep meaning to watch the videos, just keep falling out of the bus. Oh, it's okay. Everything comes down this evening. So you can binge watch them, or unless you're joining the hub. If you're joining the hub, don't binge watch anything because you've got access to everything inside the hub. But if you're not joining the hub, binge watch everything today. Oh, yay! I'll be joining the hub right after the session. I hope to take advantage of it. You're so sweet and generous. You're very welcome. I know you'll love it. You will love it. So let me just... Lloyd Lewis, yes, take a look, great work. Yeah, we've got Warwick, he's a guy. There's a few guys. We've got Gareth, printmakers, and Gareth is just working on his website and a collection at the moment. But it is interesting how, yeah, the women celebrate more their success, I think. Oh, bless you. Olivia, don't worry. Hi, everyone joined. Yay. And I'm pretty scared. Don't worry. But I've started the course anyway. Don't worry. And just remember this. I need to put this in the email later, that you don't need to do everything in the hub. You see all the lessons and you think, oh my gosh. Or the 7 keys, sometimes when you're working through, you can feel frustrated because you don't know the answers. And just know that we're here to help you. And that's why we've created the hub, because doing this alone and trying to figure it all out by yourself is difficult. So over time, what you'll find is you will ask yourself something and you won't know the answer. And then you'll hear something in the hub from someone else and you'll go, ah, I get it now. Or you'll see an example from another member and things start to click into place. You'll see other examples, other opportunities, and other ways of working. And you start to just collect all this information and you see, I get it now. And it takes time. It really does. That's why I've created the membership, because if I could teach this in a month, then I would create it as a course. And then you just take the course and then you'd go off. But it isn't like that. It takes time, and we progress over weeks and weeks, and you will just have so many revelations and progress, promise you. In fact, I'll send you an email this afternoon because we've just had people just sharing their success inside the membership, and it's so amazing to see. Now, let me just see this email, and I've just got these last few. Here it is. Naomi, if you're watching, I'm sorry I couldn't reply to all of your questions in one go. There were so many, and my dyslexic brain can't process loads of questions. But Naomi was asking, if an artist has a style, flowers inside an elephant, can I also draw flowers inside an elephant? Similar style, but my flower design and different elephant pose differently. Or is that copyright? No, you can do it your own way. And yeah, no, that's fine, because we all take images from other people, and we'll take photographs, we'll take ideas from other artists, we will go out in nature and take pictures, and we collect everything together, and we might use an artist's work and, we're inspired by them and use it in our own personal space to create it. And if you're replicating it exactly, then that is a breach of copyright. But if it's in your own sketchbook and you're not sharing it anywhere, then of course you can do that. And then when you evolve the work and it becomes something different, then yeah, that's okay. But as long as it is your style and you haven't just changed the elephant and just moved the flowers, and it still looks like that artist's work, then that's more about ethical than breach of copyright. And that's what you want to be doing, is exploring your voice, those 7 keys, to take the inspiration from other people, but really think about what it is that you want to say. So as long as they look different, copyright is all about the image. If it looks like it came from that image, even if you've changed the colors, or if you look at that and you can tell it came from that, then it's a breach of copyright. This is a good question, and I was looking at this the other day, how to search an original copyright owner of an image. Right, I've started to look into this, but I'm going to create a lesson inside the hub, because I started researching a few days ago about this, and I'm going to write it up. But basically, Google, and some other people might know this and might be able to chime in with a bit better answer, But Google have a section called Google. It's not Google Images, but there's a Google camera, and you can access it. I can't remember exactly. That's why I'm going to write it up in a lesson to show you how I found it. But you press that and you can upload an image and it will scour the whole web for that same image. And then you can also find out who the original copyright is held with, which is brilliant. So yeah, I've got that now on a list, my lesson list to create for the membership. Can you name tag your artwork with your name so when people share it, your name goes with the artwork? I don't understand that one. Is that on Instagram, do you mean? Tagging your own artwork? I don't know. I don't know why you would do that, so I don't know the answer. I mean, because if you share it on Instagram, people would share it and it would come from you originally, so I'm not sure about that one. How can you research with tags people, artists use to get traffic to my page? So I did a session on finding hashtags yesterday. It's all from the 7 keys and really finding your people and doing the power hours. So that was in yesterday's video. I'll share the link to that. Is the Facebook group open to non-members of the hub? No, so the hub group is just open to hub members. And the group, the pop-up group closes or is archived. So you'll still see all the posts, but you won't be able to comment. So it will be open tomorrow and then it will close tomorrow. Are the copyright and licensing subjects in the hub based on UK laws only? There isn't actually a lesson on copyright at the moment, but we can direct you to the information because, yeah, it depends on the country that you live in. And so, I mean, copyright is really easy to just Google copyright in your country. And you'll find how you register copyright. So it's really easy to just Google that and just find out the information. So basically UK copyright, there's a whole government website that tells you how to copyright your work. And so every country will have their own website. I know that they do in Australia, they do in the US. So you could just quickly Google copyright your country and find that out. Are there any value in doing competitions? I've answered this question on a different video, so I'll be really quick. But competitions can be great, but they can be soul destroying as well. So if you win them, of course, it's fantastic for your confidence. And it can be great to put on your CV and to raise your profile. But I do see a lot of people putting more effort into applying for competitions than they do actually looking for their people. And I think that if people spent more time looking for their people as opposed to applying for the competitions, and then they get so demotivated when they don't win the competitions and it's based on 1 person or 4 people on a panel, it can be really soul destroying. So it really depends. There's no right or wrong answer. Okay, there's more questions from other people, so I'll just, yes, that's it, Jane. Google reverse image search. Yes, that's it. Thank you. I forgot what it was called. That's the one. Just checking. Trish has just joined. Looking forward to the support. Amazing. Anna Maria, hi Michelle, you said there are groups within the hub that do art together and some workshops. I need to find my own voice and try and figure out what kind of membership would be better for me. Thank you. Yes, so we do Fridays, we make art together, and that's me. I carve out a bit of time to make some art on a Friday. and we come together on a Zoom, and you don't have to share your camera if you don't want to. And I talk about the process of, finding your voice. And I literally just do a little bit of talking, and then we all show up and make art. We go quiet and we all turn the volume off and just make art. And it's kind of like an accountability thing. So we get in the zone of making. And then I hop back on every half an hour, and then we just have a chat. And if anyone needs any help with their art or wants to share their art, they can. And then we get back to work for another half an hour. And then, and then that lasts 2 hours, but you can just drop into those. So we do those on a Friday. They're just optional. And then, I have put people in groups before. We won't be doing this for the first 6 weeks because we like people to get settled in. But in 6 weeks' time, you can have a support group. And there is a group that all came together with the intention of making art every day. So the groups are optional. You don't have to take part in the groups, but yes, you can. Hopefully that helps. And Google Lens, I've not heard of that one, but okay. That's good to know as well. I will look at that. Craig's asking me, I'm interested to know what your art style is, Michelle. Well, it's interesting because obviously I went to art school and I was an artist for 6-7 years, just immersed myself in art. And for me, art was a therapy for sure. And then when I graduated, I wanted to set up an art studio. And for myself, though, it was more for myself. And then I just found myself wanting to form community, and I kept putting my art on the side. And I remember talking to East Street Arts, who very kindly supported me when I wanted to set up an art studio and bring people together. And I remember sitting with them, and they said, if you do set up this art studio, Michelle, you do realise that you're going to have to choose between your own art and whether you run a studio, because you can't do both. It will take up all your time, so you need to make that decision now. And East Street Arts director said that to me. She said I had to make the same decision. She's one of the biggest studio holders in the UK, and she said, I don't have time for my own art anymore, and so you need to decide that now. And I remember sitting in that moment thinking, do I want to set up this community in the United Art Space and help other artists, or do I want to go all in and do art for myself? And I chose United Art Space in that moment, and still did stuff on the side. But United Art Space is a huge full-time job. And for me now, the creative aspect, I guess, comes from me writing the lessons. And I'm creative in different ways now, and it is hugely creative but completely different. And so I didn't miss making art at all. In fact, I had no desire to do it because I've got 2 small children as well, so trying to run United Art Space and the kids and make art, just impossible. But now on the Fridays, I've started to make art again. But my style has always been in between abstract and representational, so I have this fascination between abstract and figurative, and at the moment I'm just delving back into that. And on Fridays you'll see what I'm working on. I'd show you. So but I literally make art for 2 hours every week, and that's it. Maybe one day, one day in the future, maybe I will go full pelt again, full time. But at the moment, I just have never been happier doing what I'm doing, working with artists. And I love writing all the lessons for the hub members. I'm always getting new ideas for improving the hub and designing it, and how to, run art challenges. And I've got ideas to turn part of United Art Space into a charity, because I really want to give back and do a lot of work for the arts and mental health, because that's where it all began for me. So I've got lots and lots of projects that I want to work on, and that's what excites me at the moment. So, but usually between figurative and abstract. I used to work with inks, but now I'm playing around with acrylics. And you'll see on a Friday if you join me, and you can see what I work on. I'm just going to see if there's any more questions. The studio organisers were East Street Arts. They are mainly based in the north, but I know that they have stretched as far as the Midlands. I don't know about the south. I think maybe there's another big studio holder down south, because it's Wasps in Scotland. The north is East Street Arts. Of course, there's lots more, but these are like the big companies. And then I can't remember which one is south. What dominates? I can't remember. No, I'm not really fast. That's the thing. I'm really slow at making art. So. And in those 2 hours, I'm mainly talking to the hub members. So like, I really don't get time at all. But you know, but yeah, for me, I'm all or nothing as well. You know, if I chose to be an artist, I wouldn't be running United Art Space now. I would be doing that full time and working on that full time. You know, I would not be able to do this and be an artist at the same time. It would be absolutely impossible. But maybe one day in the future, I'd be able to juggle both, but not with my kids. My kids are 5 and 6, and you know, I'm there when they finish school. I think that's them wanting to come in, actually. I just want to bell. Hi, it's okay, you can come in. Bless them. That's my kids here. Right, I'm just going to answer a couple more questions. And then yeah, Acme, is it? Jane says, yeah, I've heard of them, Affordable Studios down south. Yes. If you're creating work for a gallery, do you still post it on Facebook? I would, and Sharon does this. She will still post work that she intends to put into the gallery, and actually says, you know, this is going into so-and-so gallery. You can go and buy it from there, and helps promote it. So yeah, definitely. And I think it's also social proof as well. Social proof is when you're posting things that, you know, you're saying this is off to the gallery next week, and it just makes people think, right, they're in the gallery. So yeah, posts like that I think are useful. Oh, Stacey said, I really appreciate that you chose to do the hub. You've helped so many. Thank you. You're welcome. Right, and there's a couple more questions from Naomi. Let me jump back. When doing commission work, do you get a deposit to cover art supplies? Yes, definitely. Always get a deposit up front. You know, if you don't, you just run into so many problems. And also, I just think if you work with someone that doesn't want to give you a deposit, then that would be a red flag for me. And as an artist, like you say, you need to buy materials. You've got to start investing the time. And so that needs to be paid up front. And I think as long as you make that clear, then yeah, always take a small deposit. Do you need a phone number or contact on Facebook, or can you just use your email? Yeah, just email. You don't need your phone number. If you have a gallery that charges to display your work and then takes 20% commission on any sales, is it a good idea to avoid these galleries? No, galleries, I did a session on that, Naomi, about galleries, so you can go back and watch that one. No, giving a commission is a really good idea because it means that they are invested in selling for you. So, do you post every work on social media or only a few and then direct them to your website? I would keep posting, you know, work on social media because social media only has a sort of short lifespan. So yeah, keep posting all your different types of work, show it in different places, show it on the wall and show it somewhere else a few days later. You know, you can vary it because I think people worry sometimes on social media that it's going to get too repetitive, but if you think people are seeing big high volumes, and half the time not all of your people have seen your posts, so you can share the same thing in different ways. And that's the clever thing with social media. That's what I'll teach you inside the hub. You know, you can share the same message or the same artwork, but in different ways, so you don't feel like you are just repeating yourself. So if someone did look back at your profile, it's not the same image over and over again. It's different, and you can do that. So what time is the Friday Zoom creating art together? It's usually 11 till 1, and that's UK time. So this time, but for an extra hour. Excuse me, sorry, I'm clicking. Sorry, I am really, really, really stiff. I think it's from sitting at the computer for so long for the last 3 weeks. It's finally affecting my shoulders. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that live. I just forgot where I was for a minute. Oh, I love this comment. Let me just show you some. Thank you for your support by the workshops. It was the second year in a row I was looking at them and decided to join the hub yesterday. Yes, was trying to search there, and what an amazing help you do. Oh, from Lithuania, living in the UK. Amazing. We'll see you tonight for the party. So let me just check one more question and then I need to go. You heard my neck. I'm so sorry. I kind of did that and then realized that I was live at the same time. But you know, when you get Carmen, let me read this one. It's so encouraging that you have 2 kids and still have time to do all of this. I have a 2- and 4-year-old children and struggle to find time for making art since their dad travels a lot. Yeah, and that's how, you know, for me last year it was a struggle because my husband was away in London the whole week, and so it was tough, and you just have to adjust, don't you, and find your way. And so I do work a lot of evenings so that I can spend time with my kids after school. And I've realised that as well. At the beginning, I used to try and do both, try and juggle the kids and the work at the same time, and it's just not good for anyone. So now pockets of time, when I have the kids, I have the kids and I switch everything off. This week has been a little bit different. But ordinarily that's how I work. And then I've got my work time, and then that's the work time, and pocketing things rather than trying to do the kids and everything at the same time can be really tough. And then that's when you start to get angry and snap at each other. So now we have a nice, happy, harmonious time. And then sadly, my husband and I separated. And all that was pretty new actually, but I think we just kind of went our separate ways when he started working away a lot, but we're still really good friends, and he does a lot of work inside the hub and has been helping me this week, which is really, really nice. So yeah, and having a support is so important, isn't it? I think. Chris is going, no worries, we'll see you soon. Tonight art party, will there be? It won't be via Zoom because we have probably, I mean, there could be 4,000 people that tune in. We just don't know, but we've got 4,000 people signed up. So I wouldn't like to do that as a Zoom. It would really stress me out. So no, it'll be just Sharon and I. But what you can do, what we usually do is everyone, after we've done the live, people share their pictures either in the group as we're talking, or after we've hung up on the live, you can actually go back under the video and everyone puts their pictures in of what they drew, painted, created after the live was ended. Yes, Alan, we all need support. That's why we're here. It's so true. You're not supposed to know any of it. Otherwise, there'll be no need for the hub. Definitely. How can I enter in a Facebook group with subject on my picture? There's no permission to promote yourself and sell. I think it goes back to selling, what I was talking about at the beginning, selling yourself with confidence. There's ways of selling yourself without actually going in a group saying, here's my artwork, and this is how much it is. People don't like to be sold to. And so this is what our teacher inside the hub is, how to sell with using your why and your what. And there's a way that you can actually talk about your work, and it's kind of like selling without selling. So you are attracting people and creating the desire for your work without just going, here it is, here's how much it is. People just don't like those kind of posts. People don't like being sold to on social media. It is about building relationships. So that's what we'll teach you. And that's the best thing to do in other people's groups, is to just show up authentically and be yourself and have conversation, rather than just going in, posting a price and come and buy my artwork. It's taking the time to actually talk to people and build relationships up. So I would advise that for sure. Right. I'm going to head now. So I will be catching up this afternoon on everyone's posts. I'm going to be going through all the emails just to make sure I haven't missed any emails. I'm going to go through the group, comment in the group, get through as much as I can today, and then be back at 8 p.m. for the art party, where we can just let our hair down and give ourselves a big pat on the back. And yes, thank you ever so much. I honestly, you guys, this group, we've had 4,000 people take part, and it's just been the most incredible, supportive, lovely group. We've had no problems where we've had to jump in and separate arguments and things like that, which can sometimes happen. It's been an absolute joy and an absolute pleasure, and that is because of you, the group that's come together to really just be kind to each other and support each other, and to be open to new ideas as well, and to just take it all in and embrace it. And so, for me, that just makes me want to do these more and more and more in the future. So thank you, because the more I enjoy it, the more I like to give. So I just want to say thank you for that, and for being here and showing up and just being so grateful and kind and generous to each other. So I will see you, if you're not in bed, I will see you this evening at the art party. Everything comes down at 10 p.m. UTC, but I will send messages out to remind everybody that it's about to come down. The hub closes for enrollment at the same time, 10 p.m. this evening. If you want to join us, you are more than welcome. Remember, you've got 14 days to make your mind up if you do change your mind. It's lovely though. You will love it. You won't regret it. And that's it. So take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.